Japan. A beautiful, strong, fantastic country with a lush history and home to some of the best characters to ever grace paper. In this top 10 list, we'll be taking a look at the top 10 most powerful Japanese superheroes in comic books and at least one from a manga. Let's get into it. Number 10. Samurai. Toshio Ito, also known as Samurai in DC Comics, was originally just a history teacher, but was given abilities by the gods of New Genesis in order for him to hopefully be used as a weapon against Darkseid. His powers are usually activated by saying different phrases, which have different effects. But ultimately, he basically has the ability of aerokinesis, creating a whirlwind effect around his lower half, which by extension gives him the power of flight. He uses this power to direct air currents, which he uses in combat. He has also interestingly been seen using pyrokinesis, using a different phrase. He may have more elemental based powers, but there isn't a lot of him out there for confirmation on that yet. Toshio was mainly a part of the superhero team the Super Friends, and you'll see him most in their TV show. Personally, I like him because he is a bit of a nerd from being a history teacher, but he's also no pushover, which I respect. Number 9. Rising Sun. Although he has somewhat of a stereotypical and lame name, Rising Sun is actually a pretty cool character. Basically, because of his grandparents' eventual death and his mother developing cancer because of the Hiroshima bomb, Isumi Yasunari and his brother became doctors specializing in cancer research. More than that though, Isumi had the ability to absorb and use solar radiation. He uses his powers to create solar winds, heat, and light, which he uses in combat. His exploits aren't very well known, but his powers aren't anything to laugh at. He is part of the Global Guardians and has been a member for years. He also has a romantic relationship with the second Dr. Light, who isn't on this list. Number 8. Keniucho Harada, the Silver Samurai. Kenny here is a mutant and illegitimate son of the head of a Japanese clan, Clan Yoshida. He is a master of Kenjutsu and other Japanese martial arts, and is an expert in the art of Bushido, the way of the samurai. His mutant abilities are basically that he can create tachyon fields. This means he can increase the mass of objects, which he uses on his sword, increasing its mass as he attacks, making the sword able to cut through almost anything. Using his abilities and amazing swordsman skills, he works as a mercenary, usually for crime bosses and villains, making him by extension a villain. But the Silver Samurai has also been a hero. He's arguably a very honorable dude. He was a longtime friend of Wolverine, led the Big Hero 6 team for a while, helped the Avengers against Hydra and the Hand, and was even a bodyguard to the Japanese Prime Minister. I like him. Number 7. Kwanin/Psylocke. Kwanin has got a pretty confusing past that has a lot to do with Betsy Braddock, the original Psylocke. Kwanin herself was raised by the Hand from a very young age to be a top assassin for Japan before she defected. During an honorable fight with her lover, she slipped and fell off a cliff, and the Hand tried to save her. At the same time though, Betsy washed up on the shores of the Hand's island, and noticing who she was and the similar telepathic abilities she possessed, the Hand was able to swap their minds. But instead of swapping, their minds and psyches became intertwined, meaning they were both basically the same people or persons with aspects of both going into each of their minds. It's really confusing, and it ultimately got somewhat reversed, sort of, not really. But all you need to know is that through her training with the X-Men, she has significant and frankly awesome telepathic abilities that earn her a decent spot on this list. And she has a rich history that you should look into. Number 6. Katana. After the death of her husband and 2 daughters by her husband's Yakuza brother wielding the sentient Soul Taker sword, Tatsu Toro gained the favor of the sword that chose Tatsu as its new wielder, allowing her to kill her brother-in-law and become the anti-hero Katana. While she is an Olympic-level Japanese martial artist, it is her soul sword that gives Tatsu her distinct edge over any other katana wielder. The sword is even able to penetrate Kryptonian skin due to its magical origins and can deflect heat vision. The sword's main ability, however, is to trap the souls of whoever it kills inside of it, meaning her husband and children's souls are trapped in her sword. She has been a member of the Birds of Prey, Outsiders, Task Force X, and even the Justice League of America, and she has historically not been someone to mess with. Number 5. Deku. If I'm gonna talk about a manga, then I think My Hero Academia is the one to go with when talking about superheroes. And who better to talk about than the main protagonist, Izuku Midoriya. Deku has the All-for-One quirk, which was handed down to him from the former #1 hero, All Might, who was the 8th user of the quirk. One for All allows Izuku to stockpile power, which increases his stamina, endurance, and skill. But Izuku is the first user of the quirk to awaken a spiritual link with the past users of One for All, making him the first to inherit all of their quirks. This gives gives him Fa Jin, which is basically the power to store and release kinetic energy. Danger Sense. Black Whip, allowing him to create tendrils of darkness to capture enemies or move grapple objects. Smoke Screen to obscure vision. Float, well, to float. And the unnamed quirk of the second user of One for All. On top of all of that, he is also just really intelligent, which is always admirable. Number 4. Ogon Bat. Ogon Bat has to be on this list. He is a unique and cool character in his own right, but he was one of the world's first superheroes, coming before even Superman. As the god of justice and protector of the weak, his origin is that he was originally an Atlantean who was sent forward in time 10,000 years to defend the modern world from evil. He wields a scepter that fires bolts of energy, causes many earthquakes, and slices through steel. He himself was immortal, could fly, breathe underwater, had X-ray vision, and possessed superhuman strength, speed, and invulnerability. He was summoned by a little girl who would call on him, causing a sparkle to appear around, which then turned into a bat and then turned into the hero when it found its enemy. While he initially started as a comic, he also has a TV show that appeared in several different countries outside of Japan, and I think he looks really cool. Hey guys, just wanted to say a quick little thanks for watching before we get onto the top 3. If you're enjoying this list, hit us with a like and subscribe. It helps us to pump out more top 10 videos for you to watch in your downtime. Alright, moving on. Number 3. Sunfire. Shiro Yoshida, otherwise known as Sunfire, is the premier superhero of Japan in Marvel Comics. He is also an alpha-level mutant who possesses the power to manipulate solar radiation. This power allows Sunfire to fly, produce plasma blasts, plasma shields, and generate plasma temperatures of around 1 million degrees Fahrenheit. His powers are fairly similar to those of Johnny Storm, interestingly enough. Shiro Yoshida is fiercely patriotic, usually choosing to fight for his country over most other teams. And while historically he has been a villain, he has been part of the X-Men and does ultimately do what's best for whoever he is representing. The character's origin and early days had a lot to do with disdain for America, which is fair considering his mother was a survivor of Hiroshima. Ultimately, Shiro is an awesome character that I want to see more of. Number 2. Fuji. Fuji is a pretty interesting Japanese hero from Image Comics. Basically, Fuji is a former champion sumo wrestler, which is where he got the name Fuji, and he was mutated by cosmic energies from a passing comet. I'm not too sure how this actually happens to someone, but basically, Fuji is made of pure energy and has to be kept within a sweet-looking containment suit to keep himself together. While in the suit, Fuji is incredibly strong and durable, but if he is without his suit, his form cannot be held together and he could perish. He's kind of always on the edge of death, which is a horrible way to live. Fuji also had technopathic and technomorphic abilities, kind of like Ultron from Marvel Comics. He can also project his own radioactive quintessence as a concussive blast from his hands or chest, and can also change and alternate his physical shape however he sees fit, depending on his suit. He's an awesome character with some powerful and unique abilities that give him a decent spot on this list. Number 1. One Punch Man. Saitama, the One Punch Man, is so powerful that the whole conflict of his character is that he is just bored of always winning. According to him, his powers came about through rigorous physical training that consisted of 100 push-ups, squats, and sit-ups, together with 10 kilometers of running every single day for a year and a half that caused his hair to fall out and for him to gain durability, strength, and speed that the upper limits of which has not been seen yet. Seemingly no villain or task has been able to really injure him, and almost every foe he faces is defeated with a single punch. Because of this, he has such a relaxed, bored, and uncaring attitude that is absolutely hilarious. His attitude mixed with his unconventional, sort of funny appearance causes people in the superhero community to not take him seriously. But that is just dumb. His feats are insane and so awesome to see, jumping from the moon to the earth in seconds, to name one. I recommend reading the webcomic or even watching the show. You will be awestruck. Alright nerds, that's the list. If you agree or disagree with my rankings, or wish you saw another hero make the list, let us know down below. I'm Adam Andrews with Top 10 Nerd. I'll catch you next time. Bye.